Hey, Kai, are we ready to go?
We're rolling.
All right. So, Dr. Alejandro, thanks for coming back, buddy.
Rich and Kaya, nice to be back here, and nice
We're
to
in
give
person,
you an
but
update.
further apart. So
Exactly, we're maintaining all the measures. We have some rubbing alcohol and trying to keep the distance.
Well, it's nice to have some semblance of life coming back together. Like some of the restaurants have opened. They're at 50% capacity right now.
Yes, and they're able to open up, and it's not only deliveries. So fortunately, most of the people have responded well to the measures implemented by the government. That's also put the country in a really important international spotlight compared to places like New Zealand. So they're starting to relax a little bit some of the confination measures we've had. But it's also up to us to keep them evolving instead of going back, which is what's going to happen if more cases start to appear, and if there's more spread of the coronavirus, the way it's happened in Singapore. There's a new outbreak in Wuhan and some other places that they start to relax some of the measures, and the curve starts to rise up again.
Now, that being said, are we in the phase 2 part or the phase 3 part? Like, where are we at right now?
They're still maintaining it as a phase 3. As a phase 2, not yet into phase 3, or there's no community outbreaks. Most of the recent cases have been exported cases, which is, I think, the main problem at the moment. The way they are relaxing measures is still, as much as you can work from home, as much as you can stay home, wash your hands thoroughly, cough and sneeze protocol. If you're in an open space, try not to yell or sing, and maintain a social bubble. That means that the people that live with you in the house, that's your social bubble. Friends that come into your house are outside that bubble and could potentially be threats and or risks.
Gotcha. So it's the grip is loosening a bit, but they're still saying, be smart about it, stay home when you can.
Yeah, partly it's they want to reactivate a little bit business. They opened several national parks. Down here, we've had that uncertainty of are we going to have an open beach on Monday? But I think they're working towards it.
Can we talk about that? I want to interrupt our previously scheduled outline to talk about the beaches reopening. For anybody listening, not up to speed, they just announced the changes yesterday, but they said that Guiones Palada and Ostinal are not reopening. Therefore, people who want to surf or go to the beach or even go for a swim need to go to beaches north and south of here.
The thing is, there's no protocol, there's no prior experience with it. So in a way, they're just trying it out. And
that was a bad decision.
Governments sometimes need some trial and error in this sort of situation. I mean, Minae and Sinac and opening up national parks is not a priority for the government at the moment. And they're, the people in charge are, just, I think, kind of playing it by ear and see how it goes. And they're going to get a lot of emails from a lot of angry people from all different beaches in the country, but let's see where it evolves. It's still not open, so we have, let's say, time till Monday or at least this Friday for them to give out a real official decision, even though they've already made the official decision, but everybody is fighting it. So hopefully it opens up. People get to exercise on the beach, which is the main purpose of opening up beaches. Not to hang out and take your family and do a picnic, is basically exercise on the beach.
Yeah, I think the people's mental state, physical state, and economic state, quite frankly, everything.
Exactly.
It would add a lot to us, and we're not. I know it's a tough situation, and I know we're at the bottom of the list, but this is a unique spot where people here are very, very drawn to the beach, and not reopening it, the Guiones Palada Ostinal section, I think it was a poor decision, but hopefully we'll get there. So moving on, can you give us the general update in the world? Well, I guess you already did. You explained some things, but like what should people know about right now?
Costa Rica has 800 cases, confirmed cases. So
it's still very low death percentage.
Exactly. There was a rumor of some cases in Nicoya. That's ruled out. Nosara still has no reported cases. I heard a rumor also on the weekend of some policemen saying that there were a couple of cases. Official answer from Health Ministry is there's no cases in the area. That doesn't mean that people need to slack off, especially with the measures that are going to be taking place now. You still need to have extreme hygiene measures, hand washing, and not think that everything is over and we're all safe. Because it can go back to Semana Santa measures, and that was pretty intense. I don't think any one of us had experienced something as intense as not being able to go out in your car and staying home and not being able to drive after 5. So hopefully we can keep opening some measures that the local commerce actually starts to pick up again, because we know how much people need it. All sorts of ranges of families need their income, and hopefully this kind of stimulates a bit of national tourism and commercial activity.
I gotcha. So we need to get moving some, but let's not go full force is the general message.
I encourage businesses to have good protocols, especially hotels. Think ahead of what's going to happen, because you can be shut down again if all of your staff gets COVID. People might die. You can be the focus of infection in different communities, Nosara, Tamarindo, anywhere, and it could definitely affect the community more.
But the good news out of this, or this is what I'm hearing anyway from what you're saying, the good news out of this is the mortality rate is extremely low. And to date, nothing has surfaced in Nosara, nor Samara for that matter, that we're aware of.
As much as I know.
That's incredible. So let's celebrate that. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
I think that serves as further evidence as to why get the beaches open and let's save some people who we're trying to get the economy going. Like these very people in this town, it's just there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us who... I don't know what else to say. Yeah, without that beach, we're in trouble.
We depend on it economically and I believe psychologically. So hopefully this opens up a little bit more, but don't slack off. That's the main message.
Keep the hygiene procedures going and be vigilant. That makes sense. Fair enough. Now let me ask you a question. A lot of people are starting to wonder if it's okay for their maids or their gardeners to come back to work. They've been gone for a while. Can you help us understand that?
If you're going to have somebody from outside your circle come back to your home, make sure you have good protocols. Ask them who they've been in contact with, any confirmed or suspicious COVID cases that they've been in contact. Have they left their house? Have they traveled anywhere? And when they get home, to your home, if they come to work into your house, make sure they wash their hands before. If you can, have a extra set of clothes that they can change into and change out of when they leave the house.
Interesting idea. That makes a lot of sense.
But just basic questions are going to be the best thing to kind of determine if anybody has been in contact with possibly some possible COVID cases.
Seems like most of the people from like Delicias, Esperanza, and Nosara town probably haven't traveled too terribly far. So most likely it's probably okay.
If somebody has flu symptoms, they need to stay home. You cannot let anybody come into your house that has had flu symptoms. If you've had flu symptoms, you need to stay home for 14 days.
Hey, how is the flu and gripe situation going around right now. We're having a change of seasons, so I imagine you're getting a lot of allergy type.
Some it hasn't been as intense because the rains haven't started. It's been, threatening for the last week, but it hasn't really been raining, and it still hasn't kicked. The government has done a really nationwide influenza shot for kids and at-risk patients, older, over 65, senior citizens, diabetics, high blood pressure, chronic pulmonary diseases, to prevent having influenza and possibly confusing symptoms. Also, they do this every year, so it's just part of the schedule that they do.
Okay.
So if you're interested and you live here, you can definitely look on their website, or we can try to help on where they're going to be doing the vaccination. And if you're part of any of those groups, you should get the vaccine.
What about just going to the doctor in general? I know in the States and Canada and other countries, the hospitals are actually pretty empty because people are scared to go because of the COVID situation. Are you experiencing anything like that, or do you know about that happening here in Costa Rica?
I think hospitals have a lot of protocols in place. We were in Nicoya Hospital a couple of weeks ago doing a drill on a possible COVID patient, and we saw they have an extra shock room for a possible COVID patient that also, let's say, had an accident, and they're pretty well prepared. The protective gear is a little bit scarce in the country. I think they're bringing more and more, but I think they're pretty well prepared. Down at our office, we're doing a telephone screening first. People need to clean their hands before they come in and wash their hands. And we're putting protocols. We already have protocols in place. So we have a suspicious case. It's going to go into this room or this room. And this is our list of protective gear. And we've trained on how to put it on and put it and take it off, because it's complicated, along with the ambulance.
So you feel good about the way this is flowing. It sounds like you've got your protocols in place. Everyone's being concerned about it. We're just extremely lucky that we haven't had to deal with it just yet here. And thank God for that. Knock on wood somewhere. That's phenomenal. Getting the economy going back while remaining vigilant. I know that's kind of tricky and it's kind of strange, but would you go and eat at a restaurant now, or would you not want to do that?
No, I don't have a problem as long as you stay within your circle. You wash your hands before and after, and make sure that the place has their protocols in place. Make sure there's available alcohol, a sink with soap that you can use, that people are maintaining their distance, that it's not clutter up. So
for you, it's the hygiene. If the hygiene's in order, exactly, you're good with it.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm going to ask you one more question on the beaches. What's your opinion? Do you think that they should open up the beaches here, or do you think that they should remain closed?
No, I think they should open up. I think everybody has been pretty good. Although there's been a lot of people violating the measures, I don't think it's been the gross population that lives in Nosara. Hopefully, and it's up to the people that live here, that it doesn't create groups of people, that the police have extra work and they're breaking the rules constantly, because what's going to happen is we're going to go back to beaches being closed.
That's my big concern, is if you squeeze it too tight for too long, people are eventually just going to do what they're going to do, and then that sends us backwards, and that's not good for anyone. I mean,
everybody's tired. It's definitely not normal what's happened, and it's not nice, and it creates tension and anxiety. And I've seen a lot of cases of people with bad anxiety, and but we need to hold on a little longer.
You and I've never said that before. It seems like we're saying that every week. But it makes sense. All All right, last question. Well, one of my last questions, and this is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
And answer it if you want. For the borders reopening, for the economy to get going here, we need the borders to reopen. We need people from Canada, Europe, and the United States to be able to visit Nosara. And the way Nosara sits right now, there's a lot of people who will not be able to stay here unless those borders reopen. But here's the tough part of the question. Just north of us in Nicaragua, we don't really understand the full situation up there. Or maybe, I'm sure you know more than me, but can you update us on that? And can you share your opinion on the borders opening? Because I'm very concerned that the situation in Nicaragua is worse than it is in Costa Rica. And if they open all of the borders, the COVID cases will start increasing a great deal. And again, as you know, I have nothing but love for Nicaragua and the people and the country, and want to spend a great deal of my future life there. I love it. But for right now, at this moment, super concerned. Can you help us understand your thoughts?
Internationally and the way the government works, they haven't released barely any information, which creates some confusion and anxiety on what could actually be happening. I read a report from Delfino saying that apparently released by the Doctors Union in Nicaragua, saying that approximately 60 medical professionals have COVID. We've been hearing of deaths based on atopical pneumonia, which could just be COVID. And
I read the same thing where it was just a special pneumonia, and it really looked like they were just trying to cover up the fact that they have COVID. And you said that the medical professionals there, the percentage is significantly higher.
Yeah, they have apparently 60 reported cases. Some of the new COVID cases caught here have been from people coming in from Nicaragua illegally, and that's why they are looking hard into the border, trying to control that as much as possible. And it's not xenophobia. It's not any type of resentment. We need, and we have always had an open relationship with Nicaraguans. They're a basic part of the economy.
They're a part of life here. Exactly. And I have, again, nothing but love. And a big part. Well, you know this about me personally. Like my life, I want to spend a big part of my life up there. I love it. I'm just concerned about this particular situation.
The problem is, at the time, is one of the main concerns of the government. But it can also happen with borders opening internationally June 15th and a bunch of New Yorkers coming down.
New Yorkers are coming down.
People from the States, or from hot COVID zones. That we don't know. I mean, I know a lot of residents want to come back and they'd rather be here than in their home country.
That's the consistent message that we receive.
That's the consistent message.
So I'd way rather be there than here. As soon as I can get there, I'm coming there.
Exactly.
Then, of course, we're like, well, don't bring that.
Exactly. So it's going to be up to the government deciding on how they want to manage this. I guess they could start with essential travels. Essential people that need, or people that need to come back for, something major.
A reason.
Exactly. Essential traveling, before really opening up full front on tourism. And I'm guessing that, let's say if they open up also for residents that come back, I'm guessing they're gonna, want to have them do the 14-day quarantine.
That makes sense. I think people also own land here, or if they own something. Like we have a really good friend. He wants to come here. He has some health challenges, and he feels safer here than he does in the States.
Yep.
But he can't get in. But the guy owns part of a hotel. Like he
Exactly.
I feel bad for him, but at the same time, I understand what's going on. So, can we do a quarantine on this side of things, or is the test going to be available to where people can check?
There's been more and more tests. Let's say for transport people coming in, transport trucks coming in and out. If they get to the border, they cannot pass through the border until a test is done. They usually need to wait 48 hours, and there's lines, in Panama and Nicaragua. But until they have a negative COVID test, they cannot pass through the country. It's going to take a toll on costs, but it kind of, certifies that if they stop at a restaurant, at a gas station, they're just not going to spread it. Because the problem here is once you stop losing track of who has it and who that person has been in contact with, then you're going to lose that epidemiological nexus, and that's going to make the investigation harder.
Right. It can go wild and then
exactly.
I understand. That makes sense.
Why maybe it opens up first for residents and then tourists. Residents need to register where they're going to be, and you need to quarantine for at least 14 days. And I think they've been doing a pretty good follow-up process. There's Caja has an application called Edus, which is an app. That app that they've been using, that you use for your medication, your records, getting an appointment at the local clinics, reminders for specialist appointments, etc., etc. And I didn't get this full message on yesterday's press conference. Apparently, that app will connect to other Bluetooth devices, and they can follow up on who you've been in contact with.
Wow.
Yeah, super
That's
big brother.
That's like scary and good at the same time.
Exactly. Super big brother, 1984, etc., etc. Government controlling where I am.
Hey, what's your take on all that as a medical professional? A lot of us like to point out your liberties, your freedoms, and all these types of things are being taken away. But you're on the doctor side of things. What's your take on it?
It definitely simplifies knowing who that person has been in contact with.
Okay. But what's your opinion about the
liberties being... it's conflicting, but I understand the need at this moment to, have and be open about this sort of thing.
So for this one, you're on the side of let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have the app. Okay, this is something that I just heard about yesterday. Didn't watch the whole press conference, but I overheard and read some stuff talking about something like this, which is good and it's bad. Let's see where it unfolds personally. Obviously, I don't like my freedoms being restricted, my freedom of movement, my freedom of going to the beach, but I can totally understand this is not a simple time, and the threat that it's looming, I think, calls for these types of measures, and I agree with them. I know it's been really conflicting. All the conspiracy theories I've heard, being contacted for, being talked about.
Hey, in Nosara, we get a lot of people who like to talk about conspiracy theories too, so it's extra thick around here.
Exactly. I find it entertaining. I don't get mad or anything. Everybody can believe what they want to believe.
I gotcha. Well, I'd say I agree with you on pretty much everything that you're saying. The one thing that's bothering me is the beaches reopening. I think that was a bad decision.
We're close, Rich, and I think hopefully they are able to overturn it, but we're close anyways.
Yeah. Maybe by the time this even comes out,
exactly,
we've made some positive steps. I'm appreciative to the government and to medical professionals and to everything you guys are all doing. Thank you. Thank you for the consistent updates. I know it means a lot to a lot of people. Is there anything you want to get out there before we wrap this episode up?
Please read official sources of information. Remember, we're still not over this, and people need to take care, wash their hands, cough properly, stay in your house with your group of people as much as possible. Any doubts or any questions, reach out, look for real information, let us know, and, just get ready and prepare and just, stay calm. This is all gonna pass. Ranting in a Facebook group that you're not able to go to the beach ends up creating not the values that I think you need to be looking for: solidarity, empathy, hope. Instead of it ends up creating a local versus foreigner.
We need that to go away anyway.
Exactly.
I think that's one of the burgeoning problems with the up and coming group is whenever it turns into gringo, tico, this, that, that's...
All of our freedoms have been restricted. It's a different time, but it's going to pass. If we behave properly, follow these advices, not only you're going to be safe, the rest of the people are going to be safer, and we will eventually and gradually go back to normality.
Yeah.
24 open beaches, 24/7 open beaches, going down to restaurants, hopefully concerts come back, etc., etc. But at the moment, just be calm, take it easy, learn something, relax. This time is just time to reflect and stay home and be with your family, or connect with old friends, etc., etc. You're eventually going to be able to go to the beach. Eventually everything's going to go back to normal.
What are you doing for fun?
Been homeschooling. That's been pretty fun.
I liked your quotes there.
Cooking, baking bread.
You're making bread?
Yeah, baking and doing.
Is it any good?
Yeah, it's really good. I can share this is a recipe. Did you listen to Lucho Calavera? You know who he is?
No idea.
He's brought his band here several times, and he's a really do-it-yourself guy. And he's been doing some bread, posted up a video, and we started looking into it, and it's awesome. Bicycling, and I've seen a lot of families and people bicycling, which I never used to do, but now I've seen a lot of the NCA trails that, by the way, they're awesome, and congratulations to the NCA for the work they've been doing.
Yeah, this whole situation brought that to people's attention. Exactly. Unfortunately, the rain's coming. Yeah. Hey, there's a petition out that the NCA just sent just before you came in. This will take a day or two to edit if we're lucky. But about opening the beaches and them being supportive of that. If that's true, that'd be nice to see, because a lot of people feel that the NCA and people on the NCA just want to do whatever they can to mitigate tourism and shut things down. And that may or may not be the case for everyone, but I definitely know it's not the case for everyone.
Exactly. And
so thank you for them for creating a petition to get the beaches opened and whatnot, if that's accurate.
And just remember, the beach, the whole thing about opening up the beach is for recreative sports. It's not to go and hang out, and eventually it's gonna turn to that, but you'll be able to go surf for 3 hours, run on the beach, swim, etc., walk on it, which I know is a big part of our lives. So hopefully that helps out mental state of people, and a little bit of maybe economic activity as well.
Yep. And to NCA's credit, they are an environmental organization.
Exactly.
They're not trying to look over the economics of this town. So a lot of people shoulder that towards them. They're an environmental organization. So I respect that. I'll probably reach out to them, get their take, or see if we can get some insight from them. And but I know there's a lot of people who are even asking to come on the podcast who are pretty upset about it all.
Take it easy, guys.
Thank you for your calming voice.
Yeah.
And consistent updates, man. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. I think this has been a really good platform. And
cool,
you guys do an awesome job. So we'll stay in touch and see what happens next.
We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. Take it easy, guys.
Right.